while back I did a video similar to this. The war on ... What is the war on? Well, the government, when they go into war, any kind of war, type of war, they can put aside people's rights, put aside the Constitution, that kind of stuff. Then they have unlimited, things they can do. They have unlimited ways, especially nowadays. They can write out checks, they can print money, they can create digits in bank accounts, they can create digits in companies' accounts, they can create digits in billionaires' accounts, they can do whatever they want because they're in war. So what better way to have that all the time, state of emergency all the time? Without declaring an emergency, you declare it once and you never shut it down, you never say it's over, you don't end it, you're always in a state of emergency. So what better way to do that so you have no questions but a war? So, for example, war on poverty. 1964 was started, war on poverty. We're still in a war on poverty. Nothing's been resolved. As a matter of fact, poverty's way worse. So if you go war on poverty, is that a war for poverty? Because it seems like that. It's gotten way worse. So war on poverty, that was 1964, like I said, started. And now, it's just under $400 billion per year is what it costs. For a total of $22 trillion so far. It's cost you and I a way of making our purchasing power less. That's how they do it. By printing and then taxing us. And then taxing us more and printing more, and the hidden tax called inflation, well, that's always there, and they always want to crank that up, and that causes what you know as inflation of prices, inflation of goods and services. Well, actually what it is, it's your value that you have, it's going down. So what you hold can buy less. It's your purchasing power. And that's how they get away with it. A slow boil. And so that was 1971. We're still in that war, 1964 to 1971. It was the war on drugs. That was more than $25 billion per year, for a total of roughly $1.5 trillion to date. We're still in that war. We're in a war on poverty, we're in a war on drugs, and then there was a war on AIDS, which you don't hear about that as much, but it's still going on. If you look it up, there's still a war on AIDS. And I got some of the stuff to talk about that. You should do a little investigation into AIDS, but you got to learn the story about AZT and AIDS. Just look into that, and don't just do your flat Google search. Look into it a few pages in and really look into it. Spend half an hour. Look into it. You might, really open your mind up to some things, but AIDS and AZT. So the cost of the war on AIDS, I guess there's really a monetary cost to it. It's very expensive. And the biggest way to say it is look at how much the pharmaceuticals have made from it. Look up Dr. Fauci and AZT. Look up Dr. Fauci and AIDS. Corruption, that kind of stuff. You would be doing yourself a big favor if you did that. Let other people know too. So it's in the millions and millions of deaths. So if we look at it as a counting of deaths, millions of deaths. And that would equate for, unknown amounts of monetary, how much it cost us monetarily. But the deaths are there. The deaths say it. That's extraordinary. That's more valuable than any form of dollar or physical thing you have here, because people are dying. It's the deaths. And then there's the war on terrorism, started in 2001. So it's war on terrorism. More than $400 billion per year is paid out to things. That's how much it costs. So far we got $8 trillion deficit from it, if you want to call it that, or it cost us $8 trillion so far for the war on terror. Now, with that, the TSA annual budget is $7.68 billion a year. The TSA, the thing you and I don't like whatsoever, the thing you and I think and know is utterly unneeded. It causes more problems than anything and causes more people to not want to fly I don't want to fly just because of that. I know people in my family and friends that don't want to fly because of that. I know many people that don't fly because of it. I'm one of them. It's outrageous. In the TSA, that's our fault. Because in the beginning, if we didn't go along and we didn't jump through hoops for them, because I said it was temporary until the whole, war is over, the whole war on terror is over, until we find them, it's going to be over. Well, as you and I know, the most permanent thing is a temporary thing from the government. But if we would have resisted that right off the bat, there'd be no TSA. But now, if everyone starts resisting it now, stops flying, stops going along with other things, that TSA will dissolve, and it will dissolve fast, because we have the power. We've always have, and we always will. We have the power. So then there's a war on COVID. That started 2020. So far, that's $1.1 trillion so far. And that's not really including all of the stimulus packages that have arose, that they've done, that's costed us trillions upon trillions because of it, because of the answer to it, which really wasn't an answer, but it was more of an excuse to do the printing and the digit creation, the counterfeiting. So it has given the government, this war on COVID has given the government an easy and acceptable excuse to counterfeit money, counterfeit currency. That's what it has. So with that, and then to take away rights, look at what happened 2 years ago to today. Are you more free now, or were you freer 2 years ago? Think about that. And why? Because of the war on COVID. And the people who suffer the most are the poorest. And the ones who say, we're in this with you, they're not. They really don't care. They actually benefit from this. As they make billions of people lose their jobs and lose their way to provide for their families and themselves. So I'm just trying to make this fast. So what's going to happen? The more wars that they say there is, or they declare, war on poverty, war on drugs, war on AIDS, war on terrorism, war on COVID, war on XYZ, that's more illegal stuff, unconstitutional stuff that they're going to do. That's more theft they're going to do. That's more ways they're going to create, just like I said, more ways they can put people in cages for doing stuff that is nothing wrong. More ways people can die. More ways they can kill people. An excuse for it. More ways they can kidnap people and put in cages. Whatever else. Because there's emergency. Emergency's going. It's a war on whatever. So more laws, no matter what they are. No matter if you're on the right, the left, if you vote D or R, red or blue, whatever. More laws from wherever means less freedom for you and I. Period. Doesn't matter. Because if there's a law put in place, you're like, oh, yeah, this is great. We needed that. We needed that because I was sick and tired of this. So we needed that. I'm glad this person put that law in place, and I'm glad they're making this happen. Well, maybe you're happy now. What happens years down the road when that person's replaced by someone you don't like, and he gets rid of that and doubles down the way that you don't like it? Because that happens. And it happens all the time. He or she, I should say. It happens all the time. And then there's the fighting again. Red versus blue, R versus D, you versus me, all that kind of stuff. And that's what they do. Like I've said before, it's WWE. But it's happening in real time. It's happening to you and I. So I just want to say, the war on. Keep your eyes out, your ears open. The war on. If it's a war on something, it's only always, in the end, a war on you and me, and a war on our freedoms. That's all it ever is. The war on poverty, war on drugs, war on terrorism, war on AIDS, war on what? War on cats, war on dogs, war on trees, whatever. It's a war on you and I to take your freedom and my freedom away, period. And give them more power and take more power away from us. Take our means of getting by in our survival away slowly while they benefit And they excel from that because they want to drain us. They want to drain us so they can take us to cleaners, so they can benefit. And they really want a slave sort of relationship. It's them and it's us. Period. Anyways, as always, thank you for watching. If you like this, hit the like, share, subscribe. Stay vigilant, protect yourself, protect your family, protect your health, and protect your wealth.